I'm just gonna say it. The Nintendo Switch has the potential to be the best video game console ever created, both in terms of its software and its hardware. No one, including myself, could have made this bold a claim back in 2017, but now that we've had an entire year to mull over the experiences the community has been having with this device, I think it's time to start facing the facts. We might have a real masterpiece on our hands here. After the initial Switch reveal back in October of 2016, dubiousness was the most present reaction across the entire gaming community, and not surprisingly either. Coming off the wake of the commercially failing Wii U, Nintendo certainly wasn't in a favorable position among the majority of gamers' minds, even those who had bought a Wii U and were consistently disappointed with the underused gamepad and lack of consistent releases. So, when Nintendo shed light on what seemed to be merely a second iteration of the Wii U, it was met with quite a bit of confusion and many questions. The two most important being, will this receive a reasonable amount of support, and will transitioning from handheld to TV really be as seamless as it's presented in this commercial? After all, the hybrid nature of the console was its primary selling point, and if there were any little bugs that would hinder the bridge between portable and TV, Nintendo would have a lot to answer for. Fast forward to launch day, and it seemed to be working alright. As every single Switch owner played Breath of the Wild obsessively for that first month, all those caveats we were searching for were simply nowhere to be found. Small implementations like a sleep mode that let you pause your game whenever you chose, and an incredibly simple, snappy, and precise user interface allowed for everything to be quick and to the point. Turning the Switch on and off at a moment's notice was absolutely crucial to the experience, especially when you're playing a game that's over 100 hours long out in public. More importantly, swapping between the two playing styles seemed to be just as seamless as it was presented in the commercial. Turns out, it really did switch from handheld to TV at a moment's notice, and vice versa. Exploring the vast world of Hyrule on your 65-inch TV just to immediately step forward, take your Switch from its dock, and continue your adventure on the go felt exactly how it was promised to feel in that initial reveal. But the prominent concern on everyone's mind was that it wouldn't last. After the proverbial honeymoon was over, after everyone had finished their save files in Zelda, would that unique feeling of playing your game however you like lose its appeal? Would it become an outdated novelty like the Wii's motion controls or Xbox 360's Kinect? And I believe that the second concern floating above the stratosphere that month was what the support for this thing would be like. Sure, we all had Zelda to play for hundreds of hours after launch with the promise of a few titles from Nintendo coming intermittently throughout 2017, but would there be anything to fill in the gaps? The Wii U's downfall ultimately was its lack of support. There would be multiple months that would go by during 2015 and 2016 where nothing noteworthy would be released for the tablet-focused console. I don't think that anyone wanted to see Nintendo repeat the Wii U's history, so releasing a constant stream of games was absolutely necessary to the Switch's success. As I said, dubiousness, or more appropriately, cautious optimism, were the keywords for this crucial opening month. Most, if not all, the fanbase were hoping for a success story, but the simple fact of the matter is that the console had not been on the market long enough. The pieces to the puzzle were too recently made in order to sort it out properly. But we don't have that problem anymore. As of the release of this video, there is now a full year's worth of experiences to draw from, across an install base of more than 10 million people. We all have stories to tell about this wonderful console, myself included, and I think that all the qualms and all the questions we may have had at the beginning of the life cycle have been ironed out for the most part. Over the last year, I have found the Switch to be the most personal console I have used to date, simply because it can fit into my daily lifestyle however I need it to. If I'm going off to college classes for the day, I have the Switch right next to me, ready to play some Mario Odyssey. If I'm going over to a friend's house for some social time, popping the Switch into a bag and playing a fantastic multiplayer game like Overcooked is a breeze. If I'm hanging out around the house, I can either chill out with the TV in my room or go downstairs, cuddle up under a blanket, and play some Splatoon online. The Switch's hardware is just that versatile, and I can constantly find myself in situations that make it seem like I was in that Switch commercial over a year ago. And it isn't just me. I constantly hear similar stories from podcasts and YouTubers who have the same kind of commercial experiences, who are having an amazing time with the Switch. It works just as it was intended to, and that is a phenomenal accomplishment on Nintendo's part. But the hardware isn't the only side of this coin. Everyone knows that in order to sell a successful game console, you need, games. And Nintendo has absolutely delivered on that promise with some of the greatest games of this console generation coming to the hybrid system just within the first year of the life cycle. Not only are there two of the greatest Mario and Zelda games ever created, but a bunch of other fantastic first-party games like Splatoon 2 and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, a sizable collection of third-party games like the 2016 version of Doom, Skyrim, Rocket League, and Resident Evil Revelations, and an absolutely enormous amount of wonderful indie games like Stardew Valley, SteamWorld Dig 2, and Celeste, which, by the way, might be my favorite platformer ever. The support continues, with games like Metroid Prime 4, Pokemon, and Bayonetta 3 coming from Nintendo, as well as some more third-party support in the form of Dark Souls Remastered and Wolfenstein 2 coming later this year. The Switch's fantastic catalog is only continuing to grow more and more, and it's an incredibly exciting time to be a Switch owner. The future of the Nintendo Switch is seeming brighter than ever, and since Nintendo has already gone on record to state that they want it to be a lasting product for upwards of 7 years, I think it will be a long future as well. Is the thing perfect? Well, no, of course not. There is no such thing as a perfect video game console. The built-in kickstand could certainly be better. Third-party support, while still at a relative high for Nintendo, is still small compared to other console manufacturers, and the battery life could be a bit longer. But ultimately, these are small gripes that myself and many others are willing to overlook simply because the ease of access and ability to play however I want is just that fulfilling. It's a wonderful console. I've played hundreds of hours of fantastic games on it already, and I can't wait to play hundreds more. Happy birthday, Nintendo Switch. Here's to your future, and all of ours as well. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Tell me, down in the comments, what do you guys think about the Switch's 1-year anniversary? Isn't it crazy how fast time flies? It feels like just yesterday that I got the Switch and Zelda, but it was a year ago. I mean, isn't that just insane? Hey, while you're here, if you're interested in all things Nintendo, Nintendo Switch, all that good stuff, make sure you subscribe. I talk about that. And hey, huge shout out to Super Gaming, SOUPER Gaming. He made a video over on his channel talking about his personal collection of Switch games 1 year later. Make sure you go check that out if you're interested in that kind of stuff. He's a pretty cool guy himself. Anyways, guys, what are you still doing here?